want to get close for this one. Yoga changes the way that you do the things that you love. Let's say deep sea fishing is your jam. I mean, why not? What if I told you that every time you went out on the boat, the water was crystal clear, sun was shining, there were yellowfin tuna swarming everywhere. Every single time you cast out, you got one of those fish on the line, and you fought with it, and your reel was spooling out, but you still held on, and finally, after 30 minutes of battling, that fish, you brought it in. How epic would that be? Well, yoga can't promise you that exactly, but it can do something even better. It can't change the weather. It's not some magic machine that calls in marine life. There are going to be days when the weather is shit and the ocean is tumultuous, when you want to be on your couch instead, watching sports. But there are also going to be days that are perfect or could be perfect, but you missed it. And you missed it completely because you're too preoccupied with something else. So you see, yoga doesn't pull you away from your life. It helps you meet it. Climbing, cooking, hiking, playing golf, even sitting at a computer for 12 hours editing a video. Yoga doesn't sit in contrast to those things. It enhances them. It sharpens awareness. It exposes inefficiencies. It reveals your strengths, shows you where you're forcing, where you're avoiding, and where you're compensating in life. This happens physically, it happens mentally, it happens emotionally. And when you bring that lens into something that you care about deeply, it shifts. And that's when it became crystal clear for me that yoga isn't the destination, it's the vehicle that takes you there. And for nearly 2 decades of practicing yoga as if it was the destination, finally arrived somewhere completely different. So my friends, that's what I'm going to share with you today. The thing that brought me to this conclusion was when I started rock climbing, bouldering actually specifically, because the environment is raw and it's honest and it reflects everything onto you. How you relate to effort, how you relate to fear, to impatience, to control, to failure, to discomfort. And the more time I spent climbing, the more obvious the relationship became. Not in the positions, although sometimes that's there too, but in the principles. So I want to walk you through a few of them. The ones that show up in yoga, in climbing, in deep sea fishing, and honestly, anywhere something's being asked of you. Because what both are really training isn't the body in the end, it's how we meet friction. So here are 6 ways that yoga and climbing have taught me the same lessons about movement, how I meet challenge, effort, and pressure in everyday life. Number 1, you need both strength and ease. Both yoga and climbing demand a balance between effort and ease. Too much effort and you burn out. Too much softness and you collapse. In yoga, flexibility without strength feels unstable. You can get into the shape, but you can't really stay there. In climbing, strength without ease, it looks powerful until you get pumped. You muscle your way through moves that were meant to be efficient, and then suddenly you're off the wall. Progress doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from learning where to engage, when to engage, and when to soften. You don't need a mat or a wall to recognize this. This same tension shows up when we're either working too hard or we're holding back. And most of the time, the answer isn't more effort. It's better balance between the two. Number 2 is that alignment reduces unnecessary struggle. In yoga, alignment isn't about how a pose looks. It's about efficiency. Good alignment reduces strain, and it reduces wasted effort. Climbing works the same way. When your center of gravity is off, everything feels heavier than it needs to be. Both practices reward people who learn how to organize themselves intelligently. Not perfectly, just responsively and appropriate to where they're at. When life feels exhausting, it's often not because you're doing too much, although that definitely can be the case. But more often than not, it's because you're working against yourself. It's knowing yourself well enough to organize your life that's optimized for you. Take, for example, meditation. There's this acronym, RPM, Rise, P, Meditate. I know all the books say that you should do it this way. Meditate first thing in the morning. I used to do that blindly for years. But the stillness of the early hours of the morning is where I feel most creative. It's where I want to make things, do things, create things. And so now I don't give in to the finger pointing of when I should do something, and instead I align to me. Alignment isn't about fixing who you are, it's about reducing unnecessary struggle. Number 3, support should do most of the work. This is one of the most overlooked similarities. In yoga, the legs create the foundation of a pose. They stabilize the body, they support the breath. In climbing, the legs do most of the work. The arms assist. You might not have known that. The hands guide and keep you connected to the wall, but the legs, they move you upward. And when things get hard, we forget this. Instead, we grip harder, we tense up, and our effort, it skyrockets. This shows up in life when we try carrying everything ourselves. And I'm not talking literally. When we don't seek out support or help and we carry too heavy a load, we feel it. We feel it in our shoulders. We feel it in our head, in our energy. Sometimes the issue isn't strength. It's that we're not letting support do its job. It's so important that in yoga and in climbing and in life, you find your feet. Number 4, breath changes how you handle pressure. Breath is the teacher in both practices. Holding your breath doesn't make a move stronger. It makes it much harder. Yet for some reason, when we need power, we hold our breath. Breathing calms the nervous system. It buys you time. In yoga, breath facilitates movement. In climbing, breath turns fear into strength. You don't breathe to make things easier. You breathe to make things more manageable. And this applies just as much to yoga and climbing as it does to life itself. In a difficult conversation, a stressful moment at work, when things aren't going according to plan, breath doesn't remove the challenge, it changes our ability to see it and meet it. One of the best things that you can do, actually, if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this video, is that when you are struggling, don't forget to breathe. Number 5, attention quiets the mind. Both practices demand focus, and when attention is fully engaged, mental noise fades naturally. The doubt, the insecurity, the fear, the future, the past, gone. Instead, better questions show up. Present moment thoughts. What do I feel? Where is my weight? What is the body telling me? How does it want to move? These are present moment thoughts. Attention is the practice. Most of us recognize this feeling, moments when the mind settles. And often, it's not because life got easier, but because we arrived a little bit more fully. Number 6, the process, it can't be skipped. In yoga, sequencing matters. In climbing, the order of movements matters. If you rush, if you skip steps, or ignore the setup, things feel harder than they need to be. The problem rarely is strength. Usually it's timing or the order of things and not following the process. Thinking about this, I can't help but reflect on the process that I'm in right now of making videos here on YouTube. I want to skip the hard parts. I want a shit ton of followers. I want every video that I make to go viral. I see myself with 300 subscribers and I want 3 million. This is the frustration of many things, but it's not because I'm incapable. I know that I am. Instead, it's because I don't want to wait and I want to skip steps and I want to get to the finish line. And I'm telling this to myself as much as I'm telling this to you. The process is the path. And this is where everything starts to come together for me, because none of these lessons, they live only in yoga or climbing or deep sea fishing. They show up anywhere that you care enough to show up. Yoga doesn't ask you to trade your life for a practice. It asks you to bring a practice into your life. So whether it's climbing or cooking or fishing or writing or parenting or building something from scratch, The question stops being, am I good at this? And starts becoming, how am I meeting this? Am I forcing? Am I avoiding? Am I rushing the process? Or am I actually here for it? And that's when it clicked for me. Yoga isn't the thing. It's what changes how you do the thing that you do. And if any of this has felt familiar in your body, in your work, in your life, I'd love to know which part stood out. So drop it in the comments. Climbing and yoga are clearly different activities, but they hold very similar lessons. They change how you relate to the things that you already do, how you meet effort, how you respond when things get uncomfortable, how you stay present, when you'd rather rush or check out. And once you start seeing that, yoga stops becoming something that you set aside from the rest of your life. It becomes the way that you show up inside it, not just on a mat, not just in a practice, but in whatever you're doing, whatever you're climbing towards next. No pun intended. And that's something that you can take with you anywhere. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.